afternoon, quilt artisans. This is Shonda, and welcome to my channel, Under the Needle Quilting and Crafts. I don't know where my brain just went right there. Well, this is Saturday, the 15th. My intent was to make a video yesterday. This is my Thankful Thursday video, and I wanted to deliberately make it on Friday because it was Valentine's Day, and I thought that would be cute to come on and say Happy Valentine's Day to you guys. But when I got home, because I went into the office yesterday, and I had to pick up my son from work. So by the time I got home, it was a little after 8. And when I got here, Adrian had, some things for me, and he had made dinner for me. And so I spent my evening with him because I didn't think it would be fair to be like, oh, thanks for everything. I'm going to go make this video now. So here I am. I actually just got back from my stepdaughter's competition. She is in Winter Guard. And yeah, so now they're on their lunch break, and they did make finals, so we have to be back to the school by 6. Fortunately, this performance is really close to the house, so I'm, still able to be home. But if you've ever had a child that was in these types of competitions, like cheerleading or any of that kind of stuff, where they compete in the semis or the prelims or whatever, and then they go to the final, you're sitting there all day. So at least with it being right around the corner, we can come home. So that's good. But this is my little bear. This is one of the things Adrian got for me. He gets you one of these every year. So I have quite the collection of them now. So cute. So what have I been working on? Oh, well, what am I thankful for? Let me start with that. I'm going to start with what I'm thankful for. I am actually thankful because I'm sure you've all heard by now, but Joann's is going out of business, or some of them, they're on the cusp, right? So they filed bankruptcy last year, and then they just filed bankruptcy again, and they just announced that they are closing 533 of their 800 stores. That's a lot. And I read somewhere, or heard somewhere, that the only stores they're keeping open are stores that do $2.5 million a year. And I guess what I'm thankful for is that the two closest to me are remaining open, because I guess they do that amount of business, which makes sense to me, because as you guys know, or maybe you don't know, but QuiltCon last year was in Raleigh. I live in the Raleigh area. I live right outside of Raleigh. And QuiltCon was in Raleigh in 2024. And QuiltCon did so well. There were so many people, and they spent so much money that literally the vendors sold out of the things that they brought, like the first day or two of QuiltCon. By the time you got to day 3 of QuiltCon, like literally everybody was sold out. Like there was nothing left. And so they did so well that they announced that 2026 would be back in Raleigh again. That's how well they did. So it shouldn't surprise me. I didn't realize that we had that many crafters, but it does make sense because we have a few like local quilt shops. Like in my area, there are several local quilt shops like within a 30 to 45 minute drive from me. There's quite a few of them. The only one near me that's closing is in Rocky Mount, which is where my mom and my grandmother live. It's about an hour drive away from me. So that one is closing. So I'm curious, because there is a list, and I'll put the list down in the description if you guys want to check and see if your store is impacted. There's a link to an article, and that article breaks out every store that's closing by state. But I don't really go to the one that's near where my mom lives. I don't go to that store because it's an hour away. But I am going to be curious to see if they have any sales or things like that I might be able to go down there and check out. So I'm thankful that my local Joann's is staying open. The one that I go to is in Cary, North Carolina, and then there's another one that's in Raleigh. And like I said, both of those are staying open. So really thankful for that. In a way, because one of the things that I endeavored to do over the past week, I decided, because I've been really good about not buying fabric, like really, 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 really good. about not buying fabric. I have not been so good about not buying yarn, like at all. I've not been good at all about it. So, um, like over the past year, I've just collected a lot of yarn. I've used a lot of yarn, but I've purchased way more than I've used. And so what I did was, because I was tempted to get some yarn because it was pretty, it was a Karen macchiato cake in the color Boundless, and I loved it and I wanted it. And I've been waffling about it since before Christmas. Like literally, because at Christmas time they had a 40% off sale. But at that time they didn't have the color that I was looking for unless I had it shipped. And I wanted to just pick it up in the store for some reason when normally I get everything shipped. But I think that was just kind of my way of telling myself no. And I keep going back to that same yarn over and over and over and over and over again. And I had to, and I was ready to pull the trigger. And I was like, wait, before we do that, let's just take a look at the projects that I have on deck, the projects that I would like to do that I already have yarn for, right? Now, some of these projects I already had the yarn and I found a project to go with it. And some of these projects I bought the yarn for the project. So I was like, let me write down what I've got here. And I wrote down, I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And there's one that I didn't put on here, so technically 16. And that doesn't even account for all the yarn. That's just the ones that I know. Actually, if I count that pink yarn up there, that's technically 17. So there were 2 that I haven't written down. Actually, no, 3. There's 3 that I didn't write down. So no, that's 18. So I have 18 projects already that I would like to make that I already have the yarn for. And that doesn't count yarn that I have that I just don't have a project for, but I already have the yarn. It also doesn't count kits, because I'm pretty sure I got a kit or 2 up there. So I'm not counting the kits either. Like, so I've got a poncho, a shrug, another blanket. Like, how many blankets do we have here? We have, so the 3 that I didn't write down, one is a hoodie, one is a blanket, and one is another blanket. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6 blankets. And we have ponchos and shrugs and wraps. So I've got, how many ponchos? I'm going to count the poncho, shrugs, and wraps together. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ponchos and shawls and wraps. And then I have a cardigan here. I have a blanket hoodie. And a scarf. So it was kind of sobering. It was very sobering to write all that down. And it really helped me to not buy anything, right? Because I have enough just projects that I know that I want to make and the yarn to make them. And this doesn't even include stuff that's in progress, right? Because I'm working on projects, right? So the 3 projects that I'm working on don't count into this. I'm just counting the projects that I'm going to work on when I'm done with those. So it was very sobering. It was very humbling. But it did give me some clarity. Like, it really gave me some clarity. Because I can't do it with my quilting. It's impossible. But yeah, it really helped give me some perspective about like how much excess that I have, and that I don't need anything. I don't need anything. So Yeah, that was one of the things that I did this week. That was a good time. Last Friday, I did a live sew with Katie, the Greenland quilter. It was a good time, and I started working on this goldenrod project that we got in our Open Gate Quilt subscription box. And I got the main part of the quilt done, like the blocks and stuff done. I just needed to add it. I needed to do the 2 borders and then get it quilted and bound. And I did get that done this week. So it is finished and it looks great. It looks marvelous. Look at that. It looks marvelous. And this is the backing that I put on it. There's not much green in the front, but there are traces of it in this border print and in this print, this border print and this print here. I did mess up because this right here, this black was supposed to be on the inside, right? And then this colorful piece was supposed to be on the outside. I did it wrong, but you can't tell. It's a design choice. And I kind of like it because it kind of makes them kind of go together. It kind of creates a secondary pattern. So it ended up well. I just quilted it with some basic diagonal lines because I'm lazy. And it was nice to be able to use some of this fabric. I don't know why I bought this. This is back when fabric.com was still in existence, probably before, I don't know if it was before or after Amazon bought them, but Amazon bought fabric.com and then quickly shut them down. But it did save me money because I don't really buy fabric on Amazon, but fabric.com used to have Act Fast Fridays every Friday, and they would have like super cheap, and that's how I ended up with this not very pretty fabric here. I mean, it looks fine once I've used it, but on the bolt, it really just doesn't look that great. And I have 2 yards of it. I'm sure it was dirt cheap. So to be able to take some of that fabric and actually be able to use it, because I don't get to use, that's really the only thing I use my bolt fabric for, are backgrounds and backings. I don't really use them in my quilting because I use my pre-cuts for that. So it was nice to be able to use a little piece of this. And I love how this came out. Love it. Monique has such great projects. Such great projects. So I did get that done. I was busy this week. I really was. I also got done the little Valentine's Day thing because I was determined to have it done by Valentine's Day. So I did get it done. It's real ugly on the back because I was just kind of racing through to get it done, and the back didn't really matter anyway. But yeah, it's real ugly on the back because it's a 2-inch binding strip, and you know, you have to be a little bit more careful when you're only working with a 2-inch strip. I normally do 2 1/4. And I'm the type that I sew my binding onto the front, and then I fold it to the back, and then I stitch in the ditch in the front to attach the back, because that's how Jordan with Jordan Fabrics does it, and that's how I like to do it. And I honestly didn't feel like I would have attached it to the back and then did like a zigzag on the front. I thought about that, but then I would have had to change my thread color, and I just wanted to get the project done, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to change to like a different color thread. So, but I did get it done, but there's the back, and it's ugly. And I even missed a piece of the binding here where I didn't capture it. Oh well. And you can see where, you can see it's ugly. It's ugly. And you can see where I missed here, where I didn't have it folded properly. I was just trying to get it done. Nobody's going to see the back anyway. It's just for the front. And I just wanted to have it done by Valentine's Day, just so I have a little something to hang up in here. So I got that done. I did work still a little bit. You know, I've been working on this quilt called Coco Nibs. Of course, now I can't find the pattern. Where's the pattern? There it is. This is the pattern. So I did work on this a little bit. I have 10. I've decided I'm not doing all of the blocks, even though I've cut them, and I've got all the components ready. I'm only doing 15 blocks because I don't like square quilts. I like them rectangular, and this quilt is 72 by 72. So I am leaving off 3 of the blocks. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. I'm leaving off some of them. Is what I'm trying to say. Hold on. 1, 2, 3. Yes, I'm gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm gonna do 15 blocks instead of 18 blocks. I've got 10 of the blocks done, and I've got 2 rows done because I wanted to see the quilt start to come together since I've been, this has been an unfinished project for quite some time for me, since before I even came downstairs. So I started this over 2 years ago, and then I got so frustrated with it, I put it away. And so now I'm just kind of determined to finish it. But this is how it's coming. I can't get the whole thing in the frame, you know, but you can see how the pattern is coming out. So, as I said, I've got 10 of the blocks done. I've got 6 of the blocks sewn together. So I need to finish the other 5 blocks and finish getting this put together. So working on that. This is probably like the most I've done in a long time. I was really productive on Friday. I will say that when I do, when I sew live, I tend to be very focused and I get a lot done usually. And the last thing that I worked on, I mean, I still have my work project, but it's at work. So, but it really doesn't matter. I don't have much to show you. I'm still working on the same square that I showed you guys last week, because I took the entire thing out. I didn't like how it looked, so I ripped it all out and restarted it. So I'm doing it over. But I got to a good spot in my Ruana that I've been working on. Let me get this heavy sucker out. I got frustrated with this because I think when I talked to you guys last week, I was telling you that I was really excited to work on it, and I was. And so I did. And then I ended up doing too many rows. And I spent probably an hour doing crochet that I didn't need to do. And then I had to frog it all out. And then I had to rewind all of that yarn back. So I got frustrated after that. And so I haven't touched it since. It's gigantic, by the way. So this is it. Let me get my stripes lined up here. Well, it doesn't matter because once you wrap it, it doesn't matter. But yeah, there we go. My stripes are lined up. So this is it. It's big. So this is probably going to be something that I keep at work, because my office is cold, very cold. It's cold in there. So this might be something that I just keep at work, potentially. But so now I have to weave in all of these ends. There's like tons of ends to weave in on both sides and in the back. So now I need to weave in all the ends, and then I have to do the border. And I think they're 3 rounds. It's 2 or 3 rounds for the border. I don't remember. And I don't have the pattern with me, but it's 2 or 3 rounds for the border. And then I have to go in and put in the plaid. So yeah, that's going to be a project. The plaid is the border is going to be fine. But adding the plaid, that's a technique I've never done before. You're basically surface crocheting. And I've never done that before. So it's going to be a learning process. So it's going to be slow at first, which is fine. At least I get to learn something new. So I don't think I'll be done with this by next Thursday, but it is something I'm going to continue to work on. Yeah. And that's what I've been working on. Yeah. The week has been fine. Like I said, I did the live sew on Friday. I went into the office this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And Monday and Thursday I worked from home. And nothing much going on. I'm trying to find, because we got to go back to the competition. But finals start at 6. So yeah, I don't know if the kids have to stay for all of finals. If they do, then they don't get out until pretty late, like really late. um, so I'm not sure about that, but I'm trying to find something that I can work on while they're, at the performance. So I was trying to find, I do keep this cotton around. I can just grab an H hook and make a dishcloth or something like that. So I considered doing something like that. But I just don't know. I want to bring something with me. Maybe I'll bring my embroidery. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something I can bring with me. And we're probably going to go pop into Walmart and get some stadium seats. I don't mind the hard bench. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with not having any back support. That's kind of rough for me. So we're going to go to Walmart and get some stadium seats. If it was just going to be today, then I probably wouldn't bother. But we've got 3 more of these. It was supposed to be 5 more, but she's only in middle school. And so the middle schoolers aren't traveling this year. So they're not going to Charlotte or Atlanta this year. Only the older kids are going to be doing that, the high schoolers and stuff. But the middle school won't be doing that. But they do have 3 other shows locally. So they have another show next weekend. And then they have 2 in March. Yeah, 2 in March. So I'm going to need the seat. I'm going to need the back support. Yeah. When the last time I did this, I was younger, and when my middle daughter was in cheer, when she did cheerleading, it was a lot of driving around and sitting in, stadium seats like that. But she did that when she was in middle school, and she graduated from college last year. So it's, I guess them 10 years, my back is just like, because that was fine. But also, I would go in and out. I didn't stay in there the whole time. But we were only in there. Wasn't even 2 hours. And my back was like, this is not working. This is not going to work. My back was like, the girl, no, we need something here. We need something. So they have them in stock. They're $20. And like I said, if it was just today, I would tough it out. But knowing that I've got 3 more of these, and we told her that she's doing this next year because it costs so much money. We told her she's doing it next year. This is not, fly by night. You made a commitment, so you're doing this next year too. So there's that. Oh, my eye is itching. Yeah, so that's that. Anything else? Let's see. No, I don't have anything else. I have just been, it was a decent week. It was a decent week this week. I don't have any complaints. Um, the weather warmed up a little bit. It's cold today, but not like super cold. It was like really cold and rainy. It rained a lot last week. So this week, it kind of sucked. It did rain quite a bit. And I hate driving in the rain, especially when it's dark. I hate it. First of all, I get anxiety when I drive now. And so I hate driving. And, especially like when I have to change lanes. And then when you make it dark, it's harder. And then when it's raining and visibility is even lower, it was just, that was the only tough time I had this week, was driving home in the rain on Tuesday and Wednesday. Which is why I did not go into the office on Thursday, because I was like, I don't want to do this rain thing again. So at least Friday when I went home, it was dark, but it wasn't raining. So that helped. But anywho, that's it for me. Like, comment, subscribe. I love this thing. I got to find a place to put it. It came out even better than I expected. It came out better than I anticipated. Like, I knew that it was going to be nice, but it came out, I can't even, like, it looks exactly like the picture, but better. It looks even better than the picture. But then you see how you can see how the black was supposed to be on the inside. By the time I realized I made the mistake, I would have had to take so much out. It would have been, it would have been, I never would have finished the project, right? If I had forced myself to go back and unsew everything, because literally by the time I realized, I had already sewn the block together, right? And so I would have had to not just unsew everything, but this corner here, I would have had to put this, I would have had to take these corners off and swap places with them. Yeah, it would have taken me hours. It would have taken me hours to take it out and resew it. And I was like, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to see how this comes out. And actually, I think I kind of like it better, if that makes any sense. I actually think I kind of like it better. Because, then you have these two touching. And I actually kind of like it. I really do. So, yeah. I think I'm going to hang this, like, maybe on the kids' bathroom or somewhere in that hallway, as just kind of a little decorative something. There's a gray rug in that hallway, so it won't clash. And yeah. So it's been a good week for me. It's been a nice crafty week. I'm hoping to get a lot done. Every time I say I'm hoping to get a lot done, I don't. But I have a 3-day weekend, but I'm losing today, right? I'm losing today. And tomorrow I'm going out. I'm meeting a friend for lunch, or like brunch. And so, I don't know, but I'm off on Monday. And so I'm hoping to have like a super crafty day on Monday. I might even make a video about it. I'm thinking of some things. So, yeah. I want to have a nice crafty day. I want to, like, literally from the time I get up until the time I go to bed, I want to be like doing something. So hopefully that works out for me. Hopefully hopefully I have a productive week, right? If I can get, I would like to get, by the next time I see you guys, I would like for this to be a quilt top. That is the goal. I would like for that to be a quilt top. I would like for all of the ends to be woven in on this, and to have my first round of my border done. I would like to have that done. And I would like to finish, because there's a blanket that I've been working on for quite some time. You guys have seen it. But I would like to finish one of the skeins, right? So I'm using a skein like this, and it is partially completed. I would like for that skein to be fully completed. Those are the 3 things that I would like to get done. Those are the 3 things that I would like to get done. Yeah. And once I do that, I really want to get cracking on that blanket. because I can't start another project, right? I can't start another project until one of these is done. That's kind of like my, I don't want my crochet whips to end up like my quilting whips, where I have all of these things that I started and never finished for whatever reason. I don't mind if the quilt top is done and it's not quilted. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like I haven't even pieced the quilt top. I have quite a few of those, like a lot of those, and I don't want my crochet to be like that. So I can only have the 3 projects. One that kind of is my work project. It stays at work, right? And then I can have a blanket and a wearable, and that's really all I want to have going at any one time. And then if I need a palette cleanser, I just realized how far my microphone is, so hopefully the volume is good here. If I need a palette cleanser, I'm allowed to work on a washcloth. You know, if I need a little, or dish rag or whatever, if I need a little palette cleanser, a little small change, and I just keep I have this little, shit, I just turned off my mic. I have this little basket here that we got in one of our sew samplers, I believe it was. And so I keep my cotton yarn in this little bag, and I have this cheap little hook that I got in the Hooks and Needles subscription box. And I keep my cotton yarn in here. And if I need a palette cleanser, a little something to do, then I'm allowed to do that. And that might be what I do. That might be what I bring to the performance tonight. I'll probably just grab like this little bag here and throw one or two skeins in here and a hook, and just bring that with me and have a little something to work on. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'll do. So I do want to get, like I said, I do want to get either this Rana completed or that blanket completed. Realistically, I won't have it done in a week, but I would like to have it done in the next 2 weeks. That would be great. That way I can start something new, because I've been working on this Rana for a while. I do wish I had like kept track of like when I started things, but I don't. I should. Maybe I should start writing it on the pattern. Like, because ideally I would like to have like a notebook where I write these things down, but every time I say I'm going to do that, I'm just not with it consistently. So at this point, all I'm really trying to do is write down what projects I complete and the month that I completed it in. So like I have this little calendar. I don't know where it is right now. Of course I don't. But I have this little calendar, and it just has a box for each month, and I'm just trying to write down what I complete in the month that I completed. And that's really all that I'm trying to hold myself to. But it might be interesting to start writing it on the pattern itself. Like when I first start the chain, to just write on the pattern itself the date. And that way I have it. And that way if I want to go back at some point in the future and be a bit more intentional about how long it took me to do something, because I'd be curious to know. Like, I really don't know. I know I started this in 2025. I know I started it in January of 2025. But other than that, I don't know when I started it. I don't know. I believe I started it in January. Like, I don't even know. I honestly don't know. So I would like to start being a bit more intentional about that, but realistically, I'm not going to hold myself to that. So I think what I just might do, like I have this little project sheet, right? But I don't know when it began. That's when it kind of hit me, because I was like, began when? I don't know. So I might take a moment and go back and watch some of my own videos. Because then at least I can narrow it down. At least I can narrow it down. Oh, I did write down for the blanket, January 21st, 2025. So I'm not as dumb as I thought I was. So for the blanket that I'm making, I did write it down. Look at me. My work project, I didn't write that down. But that should be easy to narrow down since I started it over, right? I started it over. So that should be easier to narrow down when I started it. So yeah. Anywho, I've talked for a long time now. How long have I been talking? I didn't mean to talk for 35 minutes. I do apologize. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.